So in the flashback, it's the camera from the point of view of like the first person shooter where the eyes are kind of blurry and blinking open and stuff. And you've got the truck tipped over and smashed into the side of the train and smoke and people shouting off in the distance and trains lined up everywhere. And then the eyes kind of close again and reopen, and you can see kind of blurrily in the distance the big SUV coming, barreling down concrete and stuff coming towards you guys. And then you see this woman in a hospital scrubs and a hospital mask, but like with extra arms, like stomp forward and like slam her hands down on the ground. And then the camera kind of swings back over to the vehicle that she's facing, and the rock kind of shoots up out of the ground, and the car flips flips over this rock and kind of crashes just as these guys were leaning out the windows, and there's a lot of stuff going there, and she kind of staggers to one knee. And then we cut to this other rather nondescript person in brown hair, brown eyes. It's like backing away. He's like, come on, run! We gotta run! We gotta run!
Who are those idiots?
Same face is the face that we see when a door unlocks and the door opens, and she kind of looks in or steps into a doorway. Now, so you're on the run, and you're in the greater New York City area with whatever you currently have on you or whatever you can scam off of you. And you've got 4 people who need to like sleep and have a place to hide. What's that look like? And where the hell are we? We have skipped forward like it's been a period of time.
2 nights.
2 nights. So you fled, you got away. It's daytime now. You're probably in the same clothes, but where?
Maybe it's like a construction site on a building. Like it's, construction doesn't get done. So like there's some floor of some apartment building that is currently constructionalized.
Or like the shoot, what am I thinking of? The mobile home. Like they move in basically a single wide like mobile home, but they use it as basically an office on site. So they roll a trailer home, you know what I mean, onto the site, and they put steps up to the front door, and then they basically fill it with office equipment. But if the site's not currently under, that's only for when people are doing office work on site. So if there's no construction ongoing, then yeah, you could probably crash in some place like that. Okay, so the door opens, and we can see that it's not like a bedroom or an apartment area or anything like that. Basically, the interior of like a trailer mobile home kind of space where the windows, all the shades are pulled down, but they're kind of crappy shades. So there's still some light coming in, and there's papers on desks and stuff. And there's lumps, kind of lumps on the floor where people have like curled up. We get a little like, this is for a TV or a comic book thing. We get the name over your head in the little yellow box that they always put in for editors. I was thinking like in a comic book thing, there's just like the little thing up above it that says Anne, apparent age 25. And then we see, can you remind us of what you look like? You can see it on the character sheet if you want to look.
Yeah. Average height, weight, brown hair, brown eyes, like literally, absolutely, intentionally forgettable.
Gray t-shirt, faded leggings. Probably now like some just shapeless Goodwill jacket that you got from somewhere, like to pull over. Who's the first who's awake when Anne gets back?
I kind of want to be awake.
Okay. What were you doing? Watching out the window or like?
Absolutely nothing. I'm staring at the wall.
Nice.
So that's this one, J. Again, the little yellow box in the comic panel for you.
Much smaller.
Much smaller yellow box, yeah. Apparent age 20, power, ghost clones. No explanation of what ghost clones is. And you look like what?
It's like 5'5", so like very stout, brown skin, waterfall of brown, of curly black hair that is tied in a style, 2 styles, any number of just very baggy clothing, just standing absolutely still.
That is actually you mentioned staring at the wall, and I didn't even think about that because you kind of mentioned like, oh yeah, like the unnaturally still thing. You just kind of stand there and don't. You just really disassociate. It's like a superpower.
And also pure gold eyes, just
Pure.
like one color.
Okay, so Sean, where was Anne? What was Anne out there doing? Where was our shapeshanger who can look like anybody and anything? What was she out doing? It's been 2 days since, not 2 days since she's been gone, but it's been 2 days since you guys had that accident.
Grabbing groceries.
Where did she get the money for groceries?
Thievery.
Are you implying that Anne stole?
It wouldn't be hard.
Anne, what's your thoughts on this? Does it seem like the kind of thing you would do?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there's a way to do it that's like I touched someone else's bag or wallet, something, and now I have that.
Or it's like you copy the manager on shift somewhere at the store and
Oh,
you
yeah.
walk up and you're
Sure.
like,
I can look like what I touch. You wouldn't want to touch a debit card and just look like a debit card because that's a very large debit card. But manager, piece of
Debit
cake.
card, man.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
go.
or look like another woman, a fancy Upper
Gorgeous.
East Side woman who's buying groceries, and then like stumble into her, drop something, and come back with a broken bag and go, "Oh, I just dropped my stuff, and can I get a
oh,
replacement?"
And you Karen your
That's
way
it.
through it. I like it. I like it.
you get some random person banned from a store.
That's fair.
Do not serve. Do not serve
Skill
anymore.
issue.
Okay, so obviously there's no kitchen thing. There's kind of a sink because they don't bother to take everything out of it. So there's kind of a sink and a counter, but it's just along one wall. So you got some place where you can kind of unload. I don't know what's the easiest. Oh, okay. So it's like weird food, and Jay even comments on this. Like, what do we need Parmesan for? And like,
A solid block. Why do you have a 10-pound block blue cheese?
Brie? What? Like, because you got the groceries that she bought.
Yeah.
So,
Why did you order so many pieces of blue cheese?
Charcuterie board, obviously.
Beggars can't be choosers, bitch.
So
Nobody begs for blue cheese.
So who is of the two people that are curled up in lumps in various parts of this trailer? Who's the next person who wakes up, or who wakes up when the conversation begins?
I think I hear the door close.
It's the door action is what gets you up.
Yeah, it's the door.
And you come out. What's the first thing you say when you walk into the room?
Snacks for the road.
And then the little box north above there. Apparent age 20, power, force fields. What's she look like?
She's got these long like braids that are like brown and also a little bit blonde, and one of her eyes is gray for some reason. Doesn't look like it's gotten any injury to it. It's just oddly discolored. And she's wearing some zip-up hoodie with these like compression gloves that she came off the train.
You guys have your questions that you all have, but everything decision that you guys make gives me other questions I want to ask.
Why do you buy so much blue cheese?
She didn't buy anything. She just took whatever the lady had in her bag.
And finally-
whatever
Why
a
was the lady
upper
buying
class
so much
woman
blue cheese?
decided she needed.
And finally, Ari, do you get up or do you just talk from the lump on the floor where you're laying, or what?
5 more.
North, have you gotten used to the fact that she's got an extra set of arms?
Yeah, absolutely not. It is odd and strange.
This is like I just
So
two guys around.
the little yellow box goes up over the lump of like blankets and stuff that's on the floor. Oh, and it says Ari, apparent age 14, younger than all the rest of you by a good half a decade.
He's a child.
Power, earth mover, shortish hair with 2 braids down to my armpits. That's not shortish hair.
No, like short hair and then braids. They're just braids.
Oh,
just
so you're an anime character.
So only the braids are long parts? Okay,
Yes.
okay. Burn and acid scars on your face. You wear a mask a lot of times. Dot marks all over my arms as if I've been stabbed with thorns. 4 arms
question mark.
and medical scrubs. The first thing you guys really were like, the first and last thing you remember was the crash and all being on this vehicle that sort of smashed up into a train at this big station where you probably could have been carried to anywhere. And you don't remember a lot. You remember your names, and you all have questions. We're not going to necessarily get into the questions right now, but I want you to make sure that you've taken a look at them and refresh your memory as to what they are. Psi Run is an interesting game because the way that the game works is we're going to play, find out, you guys are going to kind of figure out what your mystery is about, what happened to you, what's up with your memory, what your history is, and that kind of thing. The game ends when any one of you gets an answer, a definitive answer to all of your questions. And that's when the game hits its wrap-up crossroads phase. And we
each have 3 or 4?
3 or 4.
I have.
Most of you have 4, I think.
I think I might have 5.
Yeah, Zoe might have 5, but she has an answer to one of them already. 1, 2,
Do I?
3.
Yes, you
Yes.
had the answer to how many hands does it take to activate your powers.
How many points of contact do you need to actually control Earth? And the answer is at least 2 of your hands need to be touching the ground. That one has an answer. So you have 5 questions, but one of those has already been answered because we did that on that first little mini scene that we did. So everybody's got questions. All right. So Anne has gone and gotten food. Weird mix of stuff. Olives, lots of, things. She was probably
a couple loaves of French bread.
There you go. Like they were.
Fine,
She's
okay.
having a party, and she got stuff
She
for
was
like.
making a charcuterie board.
There you go. There's like, what's this weird ham, and it's like thin, and there's so much fat on it. It's just, whatever. It doesn't matter what the food is, because at this point it's been 2 days. Everything tastes good when you're that hungry. So it kind of doesn't matter what she brought.
Wheat thins, you're the love of my life.
What's your plan?
I feel like we should go through the subway because there's a lot of people and we would blend in. Or we could at least try.
I think
Where are we trying to get?
that's the question. That's a good follow-up question.
Where are we taking the subway to?
Away.
Thanks for being.
That's like saying.
incredibly specific.
That's like saying food when mom and dad ask what we wanted for dinner.
It's also let's lean into the assumption that you guys actually want to find out about yourselves. So doing something that points towards that goal is probably ideal.
A library that has a computer where you can Google people's Instagram accounts, have names, figure out more about our lives.
If we go to the library.
But how many people do you know that are named after direction?
Good point, but I also know what I look like.
That also makes it easier though than a more uncommon name. It makes it easier to find because less people are named.
Yeah, but I'm seeing some problems for Anne.
Anne is definitely not the problem going into the library.
Yeah, but
Well,
like
If we
we're
could
looking for
figure out
common
one
names-
Hey,
person,
guys.
if we can find one person, we see how they relate to other people and see if we knew each other for.
Try to not talk over each other because it gets really loud. I put an appropriate picture.
That is not the library that I would choose. The trick is
That's an excellent point. So say more.
that's the local knowledge. That's the big beautiful branch where they have the special collections and the reading.
Okay.
You want the local one down in Brooklyn or Murray Hill or something. They actually have theirs and not the first edition.
No, thank you. That is a really good.
See? Local knowledge.
Here we go. All right, here we go. Establishing shot. This is not pretentious. Are we ready? Here we go. This is an interior shot.
Alright,
Is that better?
alright.
What am I?
Still under review.
What am I what?
What am I wearing?
So that's a good question, but I feel like you could put like a trench coat on and just
Yeah, that's what I was
kind of hold your lower arms close to your body, and you'd even how you can walk where you put your hands together behind your back and just kind of grab your. It's like your lower arms could just fold.
It's like you're kind of doing this, but around your waist.
Put your arms behind your back, Zoe, and then grab your elbows with the opposite end, like that. There you go. You kind of do that with your lower arms, and then you put a coat on over it.
It just looks like you've got scoliosis.
That's not how scoliosis. Scoliosis.
So library was your
that's it.
idea, so I'm going to make you do this.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna go to.
He's making a box, guys.
All right. So we're gonna move to the library and do some research. We kind of come in there. Do you look perfectly normal? No. Do you look?
Oh, I've got sunglasses on.
And you're just doing that? Okay. Do you look perfectly normal? No. Are you any weirder looking than people who just decide that they're going to spend the day at a local free library? Definitely not. But they welcome all. So, Kelly, what's your goal with this bit of research? What are you trying to, like, checking news stories to see if the crash was reported? Like what?
Yeah, check the news reports on the crash, but also just trying to find any evidence of like who any of us were before the just trying to get like any scraps of like
Knowledge.
yeah, do we like what was our life? What was any of our lives like before this?
Before gestures at herself. This.
Yeah.
I would like to know that I am 14, so I beeline it to the graphic novel section.
Yeah.
Okay,
You
see.
look
Like,
14.
are we missing? Like, are there missing reports? If there's not missing reports, is there social media presence? If there is, when's the last time it posted? Anything like that.
Okay, that sounds cool. So you have a goal. Find out more about yourself, basically, right? You might learn something about your past. The chasers might gain. I'm going to have you pull up your character sheet for me, and do a risky thing. It doesn't sound like you're using your psi powers, and it doesn't sound like there's any chance of anybody getting hurt.
No.
Because you're not.
My character sheet is blank. Like, it's just blank white.
Yeah, it's fine.
Using your side power, no.
No.
You're risking harm.
No.
No.
Nope, not right now. Okay. So now you have dice. What did you roll?
6, 5, 4, 2. So out of the 4 I rolled, I have 3 successes.
Well, it's not that. What it does, it grays out the 2 because you always get to be, unless you're hurt, you always have 1 dice you can set aside. Okay. You only have to allocate 3.
Yeah.
Okay. You have to allocate to your goal, reveal, and chase. So you have a 6, a 5, and a 4. Look at what those numbers get for you and where you want to put those numbers. You guys understand?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna put the 4 roll. Going to have 6 chasers. Going to have a 5 on
The 6 on the chasers is a pretty good idea because it means that your searches aren't like alerting anybody.
So and also because I don't want to think about it, I put the 5 on the 5 or 6 would be the same on the chasers, but I also because I don't want to think about it, it means that other people answer one of my questions.
Okay, so runner achieves a goal, I get first say. Cool. Reveal is runner has a memory that answers one of their questions. Other players have first say, has a memory that answers one of their questions. So it's one of North's questions. And with a 6 on the chasers make
They don't miss.
no progress towards the runners, which is good because you're away from the library. Okay, so everybody should be able to open up Kaylee's character sheet.
I can also just read the question.
Why does it hurt to use my force fields? Why am I always scratching under my gray eye? Why is 12:05 a.m. written on my arm? And why do I have a phone with just 1 contact listed? That'd be a pretty good one to answer because you could probably you could reverse search that phone number and that could be one of your searches that you do. That's pretty cool. But what does anybody else think out of any of those?
I like that idea. I mean,
Yeah.
because, like,
Wasn't there some correlation? The time. Didn't somebody else have that number or that time in their question?
Zoe was doing a weird thing with numbers, but they weren't those numbers. She had a thing where she has a green stained piece of glass with A129 on it. There's a 12 in there if you squint, but I don't think. In any case, so what are we thinking? Ooh.
Do you have any idea about who that contact might be, Zoe?
That all right for the number to point that way?
What number?
The phone number that she reverse looked up points at, this is my suggestion, Briar Patch Builders. It's a construction and excavation company.
But that's not the answer to the question. That's who it is, but the question is why do I have this phone?
I thought
Why do I have a phone with just 1 contact?
You stole it from one of the people that was driving. That was. Do you get a flash of taking this off of one of the guys in the van that you guys were like the driver pulling it out of his pocket?
Hey, you tell me, players.
That's one possibility. You remember taking it. Like the reason that you have it is because you took it from somebody. You took it from like one of the people who was driving the vehicle that you guys were in. That's a possibility. You have amnesia. I'm just trying to give you some flashes or something.
Yeah, I know. I just trying to hear from everyone else as well and see what they think.
Yeah, I like that
works.
idea.
Okay. So you're sitting there like, you look at the thing and like, okay, but why do, like, okay, so it's this construction company. And you're like, yeah, but why do you have it? And you're like, oh, I grabbed it off one of the guys that was driving the van that crashed.
Before or after it crashed?
John, before or after? So like you literally, like the guy's like out of the window of the
looted the
van.
body.
Yeah, you looted the, and you grab this Nokia brick with one number in it for Thorn. What is it called? Briar Patch Builders? Briar Patch Builders. All right, so Briar Patch Construction. That's why, so you took it from, so this is somehow connected to the guys who had you. You don't, since that was what you were getting, the chasers don't come any closer and you achieve your goal of, so that was something you learned about yourself, but what was, the goal was finding out something more about you guys.
A past.
Not
necessarily answering anybody's questions, but just
right.
Any kind of
history. Yeah, this wouldn't be any of that. I'm going to connect it to the other thing just because it makes sense to do so. Or it's the easiest thing I could think of. You have the phone. It's from these guys that were connected with you guys being in the van. And Briar Patch Construction, since that's kind of your only lead, you look up more stuff about Briar Patch Construction? Briar Patch Building, whatever. Briar Patch Builders. And they're involved in a lot of like subway maintenance, like city subcontracts to the larger like city for subway maintenance, more tunnel builds. They'll build out, they'll dig out buildings, like the foundations before they actually get to the building. They don't actually seem to do much of the building stuff, but they dig. They have a lot of city and government contracts. Their main offices are, what's the most likely borough that they would have an office in, Kate? That makes the most sense.
Queens.
Queens? Okay. So they have their main office in Queens. That building, they've got city records of this company, Briar Patch Builders. The reason it has kind of a quaint, catchy sort of name is it's been around since like the 1850s. It's damn near 200 years old. Must be some kind of family-owned something or other. If you're looking for like finding out more about what's going on with you or the history or whatever, that's an arrow pointing at something to check out.
I think. I get everybody together. I'm like, okay, I have this phone. I stole it off of one of the guys. It's only got one phone number. This weird construction company. They're based in Queens. I don't understand why the people who were driving us somewhere would have this, so we should go to Queens.
Why don't
Their
we
office.
research this company some more?
You could also do that. You could do some more digging. There could be another digging thing.
I'm ready to Sam Winchester up this research library.
Rather than just walking into the building and saying, "Who are you? And why do you know me? What does this face mean to you?" All right. So
I thought more information, good.
More information, good. Okay. Why don't you then, Kaylee? Would you Control Z a couple of times and put those dice back? And Kate, how about you give us a roll instead then on your character sheet? There you go. You're not using your sheet.
Harm.
No.
No.
Okay. Looking back at those dice, you rolled a 4, a 3, and a 3.
So that's not going to go well for us.
I mean, you could still get your goal if you put that 4.
But they gain on us.
Yeah, there's not a way to keep them from gaining. But the good news is they don't suddenly show up at the library. None of your dice are bad enough to have them suddenly show up at the library.
I'd say put the 4 on the goal.
Is there 4? That's the only one where the 4 makes a difference. Because on the other two, a 3 or a 4 isn't going to change anything.
It makes a difference.
No,
Yeah.
I'm saying the other two. If you put a 3 there or a 4 there, the result's the same, right?
No, not for reveal.
Oh, you're right.
No.
Okay. Then
So it
you're
could
right.
be you don't find anything more about the company, but you do find more. You answer a question, or
About yourself.
you find out more about the company.
You want to learn more about the company, I guess. Okay. Okay.
Do I have to put it on Chase?
Yeah.
Like
Chase.
No.
The
Well, you have to put a dice on Chase, but you don't have to put
Okay.
your success on Chase.
No, I know. I
Yeah.
have to put it on these 3.
Yes. If you said that I was using my psi power, then one of the dice has to go on side to say how that went. And if you're risking harm, then the next die, because it gives you more dice to roll when you are risking harm or you're using your psi powers, it gives you more dice to roll, and you have to allocate them to those cards to see how it went. Does that make sense? So since you were only doing your goal, looking for potentially a memory, because anything you do that's risky could spark a memory, and do the chasers get closer, then those are the 3 cards that always have to have some kind of cover.
Okay.
You're always rolling one more dice. Unless you're hurt, you're always rolling one more dice than you need. And so the lowest one always gets tossed. Okay, so we've got goal, runner achieves their goal, the GM has first say. Reveal, runner has no memory triggered, player has first say. And chase, chasers move 1 locale closer to the runners on the trail.
Full-blown sorcerers. That's so silly.
That reminds no, but
But that just means, I mean, do I get to say it or do you
say, well, by all means pitch. I have final say.
they move closer? Maybe they found where we were hiding out. I don't think we should go back to spot we've been sleeping for the last 2 days. There's some information that I found out about this company. Instead of going back, let's move on. Let's move to the next spot.
Okay.
Yeah, the there's not really any kind of input on like the chasers make progress, because it's just like whatever our last whatever a previous location is, they're just gonna make it. They're like always following the trail. They would find the apartment, like the little trailer, because that's where we last were. Like, and that's 1 location forward for them. So we went from the crash trailer, now we're at the library. So if they moved 2 locations, they would be like, oh, they found the thing, and then they move.
I think, and I have a way to kind of maybe get us to where that would make sense for you guys to be that paranoid. Going back to that thing that I had suggested before, I was perfectly willing to set it aside, but I think in your digging and learning more about the company, you see a list of their current active projects and stuff that they're working on in contracts with the city that they've got public. And one of them is absolutely the location where you guys have been. Like, guys, we have been crashing. They did the dig out on that site. We can't go back there. I mean, it's probably not likely. I mean, is it connected? Who knows? It seems like an awfully big coincidence. That'll work. Okay. All right.
What does more information about that?
A good question. During this, I had a thought of what I need. Founded by a Eastern European immigrant, wealthy. I say immigrant, but like sort of a wealthy transfer from Eastern Europe. Apparently some sort of minor nobility named Zoria, mid 1800s, came across, had a lot of sort of an entourage. There was some early, you can find some early articles about like probably competitors of his that were saying a lot of negative things about like, he's got, criminal ties. He's got ties to, I'm probably I have to shift some years or something like that, but ties to Aleister Crowley and other like weird arcanists in Eastern Europe and across, on the continent. A lot of, just a lot of weird stuff. Like, has always been like heavily involved in city development, or at least since the company was founded. But at the same time, there's always like some association with the Zoria family and like tales of debauchery being connected to like, hedonists in the 1920s, and that kind of stuff. Seems to have a number of offices, but the main office is still in Queens, but there's, some offices in other locations as well. Which one of you basically gets the cold flop sweats when Anne says the name Zoria out loud? Like panic sweats. You don't need to know why. I just want to know who has a freak out reaction to the name. You get panic flop sweats when you hear Zoria. Which one of you gets unreasonably angry when you hear the name? That son of a bitch. Like, why are you angry with him? I don't know.
child is so angry.
Okay, so yeah, Jay terrified, Ari so angry, just unbridled rage about it.
Now, Queens.
The original
No, we do.
the original trademark for Briar Patch Builders is this picture, this little, it's transparent background, so that doesn't really carry very well, but kind of a flower thing, and it was definitely a hand-drawn like trademark for the company.
Yeah, that looks normal.
Very amateurishly kind of scrawl drawing kind of thing. Let's see if I can get a better picture of that. Something that is going to be a little bit actually, what's the word I'm looking for? Visible, discernible. Get yourself back. Put it back in there again. Let's try that again one more time. How's that? Better? Cool?
Yeah.
All right. How you get to Queens? Subway.
Subway!
Subway.
Trains.
Subway to Queens. I feel like this is risky because you guys are going through the subway.
I
Ooh.
feel like Zoe should roll it because she's probably undergoing the most risk because she's got.
With that said, do any of you think that you would be using your psi powers to ease your transition up through the subway, like
Not me.
to help the group move things along?
Not really.
Okay. In which case, Zoe, you're going to roll off your sheet. Is it showing up now for real? Click somebody else's sheet. Does anybody else come up?
Yeah.
Okay, just use somebody else's. It'll still show up as you're rolling. So you're going to roll and say you're not using your psi powers and you're not risking harm.
Okay. So let's take a risk.
Let's take a risk.
Yes.
What did I roll?
You roll.
10.
Well, the 1 doesn't count. We don't need to put the 1 down, but you do have to find the 5. So we have to cover goal, reveal, and chase.
Let's.
We can't do the 2 on the chase. It's just not.
Or the 3 on the chase. Oh wait.
Well, you can do the 3 because we're in the train station.
Oh, I did not.
Yeah, like we're moving from the library to the train station, so then they would be at the library.
I'm gonna move you to Queens.
Oh, I thought we were back.
This is getting through the subway. So this is just a 3 would a 3 on the chase would have them move 1 closer because they, like, you guys spent about as long as you could spend at the library, and some of your searches have been like pinging up. I get this sometimes. I get like Google will email me and say, hey, your name just showed up in another weird kind of Google search thing. You should go and check that out and maybe scrub yourself off the internet some more. If you have that, you have watched that kind of stuff on a watch list, it would ping up. So 3 would do that. 5 would mean that they don't get any closer at all, but it would also mean that you don't get your goal.
Wait, what's my goal?
Your goal is to get to Queens.
So we kind of need the 5.
The 2 or the 3, it doesn't matter on the reveal. You're not going to have any memory triggered.
Well, I would recommend putting
3 on
3,
chase.
yeah, there, and then the 2 on the matter.
If I do 2 on the chase, then the chasers
then they're
will
on us.
get us.
And are you looking like yourself when you head out onto the street, or you just naturally like pick somebody up that you look like somebody else as you're going?
I just naturally, like, I brush past somebody. It's like in Captain Marvel when the alien people.
Oh, the
change
Scree.
into other people. The Kree.
The Kree. No, the Kree are the militant guys. The other guys are the Skrull.
The other guys, the Skrull.
Yeah. So you're just
As you like randomly like walk past somebody on the bus or the train, I just copy them and move into the next car. So
you just kind of tell them.
You'd have to be paying really close attention to go, oh, this person is in 2 subway cars at the same time.
Right.
Or this person got off the train, but now they're still on the train.
Yeah, you hit the one who's going the other direction, so there isn't 2. Although occasionally there will be somebody who looks back out the window and they see themselves pulling away and they have a moment. You're probably the last one. Like, I'll follow behind you guys. Spread out. Don't come together. I'll follow you. You won't see me. I'll bring up the rear just to make sure we're not being followed. Nobody's following those guys. You tap a guy who's just going in. Older gentleman, has a Wilford Brumley mustache.
What?
Mom will know what I mean. Older guy with a push broom kind of mustache, kind of thing. You're walking out. 2 guys walking in. One skinny guy, one bigger, burlier, shows some ink. Tattoo on his neck is that old trademark for the Briar Patch.
Walking in or out of
Walking in.
subway?
So you're leaving the library. These guys left.
Okay.
Nobody's following.
Okay.
You find somebody to tap, start walking, these other guys come in, and we get this one like slow motion shot as you kind of glance sideways and you see that
Thank you.
tattoo's on the guy's neck.
Didn't say
Sorry.
what I was walking in or out
Yeah.
of.
As you're leaving the library, you're like, yeah, as you're leaving the library, you're seeing that this guy that you're walking past, not the guy that you tapped, but this other guy that you're going by as the older gentleman,
Gotcha.
has got the tattoo on his neck. The bigger, burlier. It's like the other guy. The other guy looks like a knife has been given human form, and this guy looks like a club has been given human form. I don't mean that literally, but that's just kind of the impression. He's a big. Anyway.
Call him rattling.
So you're following along as a series of people, but the library definitely that was the absolute limit of how long you guys could be at the library doing those searches, and clearly they figured out that you were there. Or weird coincidence, but probably not likely. Zoe doesn't get any memory jogs because of this. The chasers are close to you guys, but they're not going to know where you guys are going because they definitely missed you guys leaving. And you can get to the goal here was to get to Queens, and you've gotten to Queens, and you can get to. We'll put you within a couple of blocks of the address at like a coffee shop. Are there coffee shops in Queens? I'm joking. But yeah, someplace where you can like sort of be loitering without it being too obvious, and kind of can be talking with each other, but not too close to the building. Now, can I use that other building that I used? That was the pretentious library.
Sure you
Let's just assume that I did that. It's a nice looking, brownstone sort of thing. It's something that looks like that in any case, just to jog everybody's memory. It looks like the kind of place that this place would have is their like old, been around for a long time building. Probably rebuilt one time after a fire. Is it just me, or is that weirdly somewhat like the building, like the Doctor Strange building, like his house?
It definitely looks like
It's got that vibe, right? It's got that vibe. Okay, Zoe, you definitely don't remember anything about this, but the puncture scars on your arms are itching as you're looking at this building. Also, the rage. But the rage doesn't itch. Sean, you notice that North is just like almost pathologically scratching at the space just underneath her gray eye too.
Do you got something there?
Then you realize you're doing it. What are you doing, Sean? Because you're looking at two. So, I mean, technically, Anne is here, but Anne looks like. Oh, I'm just gonna have to show you a picture. So this guy walks up, and you don't realize that it's Anne until he says, "What are we doing?" Oh.
What guy walks up?
Oh, hang on. I didn't get the. I put. Oh, really? And I'm supposed to be copying the picture.
jeez.
What are we doing?
Ah!
There's a picture. No, I'm just kidding. I shouldn't be talking for Kate. I just like that. It's amusing. Anyway, because you wouldn't have stayed as him all the way through. I just think it's funny. Because you were talking about shifting a bunch of people. In any case, so Haley sort of pathologically scratching underneath her eye at the same time that you realize that Allie is scratching at her forearms where the little pinprick like marks and stuff are on her arms and stuff. Just not paying a bit less of attention, but they're both like sort of almost having an allergic reaction as you guys are like, casing the building. You're not having that, although you do have a little bit of anxiety seeing this place. You're feeling a little weird panic reaction. What are you doing, Sean? What's the plan here, people? What do ghost clones do? Let me ask you that question instead, or in addition.
Whatever the regular.
So you can.
So a door can be a door. I can have.
So they're capable of the same skills that you are. So it's not like they can't
Yeah,
talk
but it's
or
like
anything like
it's kind of like they're not sapient, but they have the same. It's like the Psi Run. Like they've got them.
Can they talk?
But it's probably like
But like they only really use them if like
Can they talk?
when.
I wanna play with. We didn't talk about this on the previous thing, and I want to make sure that we're not duplicating what Mom can do, because she can copy people and stuff. I want to, because she can copy people. You can like,
No, he's saying like they're copies of him.
They're photocopies.
And like photocopy.
can you do other
Wait,
people or
can
just
they-
you?
I specifically did not say I can make ghost. I can do
Because
photocopy.
until somebody said like the things in the dungeon, I thought you meant like the guy who can do copies of himself and be like the one wizard who's like actually having tea.
Oh no.
Because I like that. I think that's fun.
Oh, do that.
Yeah, I thought it was you make copies of yourself. I didn't realize.
Um,
But
not
like,
just something.
so do they look exactly like the other people, or are they like weirdly discolored? Are they see-through?
Are they ghosts in the sense that they're transparent?
They're like wisp the same shape.
Okay, so they're not. I mean, nobody's going to look at them and go, "Oh, that." They're not going to mistake them for a person. Can you copy yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, make a copy of yourself and sneak them into the building.
It's like look
Which-
kind of look kind of operating.
Okay.
By the time they do a double take, I'm gonna get rid of them.
Can you manifest them someplace that isn't in the middle of the street, so this thing isn't like walking down the street? Like, can they wisp themselves along the rooftops or something? They're ghost things. I think you can do ghosty things with them.
There is a
They like Loki clones where you can like put them wherever you want.
129 foot limit to how far I
That's
Nice.
quite specific.
Well, Zoe, if you look at your quest,
I can't though. I can't.
That's weird.
green stained glass with a 129.
129. Let's say 129 yards instead of 129 feet, because 129 feet is
Like
next.
he has to roll for that. He has to roll for that.
No,
There's no way.
I don't think, because he doesn't realize that's an answer to anything. That's just a thing.
Yeah, I don't go looking.
It's like, how far away can you, like, he whispers this thing into existence and it kind of flitters up to the roof and goes across, and North is like, how far away can that thing get? And you, without thinking about it, without thinking about how you know it, you say 129 yards. And you're like,
And
that's
Ari
weirdly
kinda
specific. I don't know if Ari actually, I don't even know if Ari heard it. She might have. I don't know if she reacted. It's just that
Well,
there's
If she
I'm-
heard it, then she would have related it to the glass in her pocket. But
still not an answer, though.
probably not.
Also, I'm wearing glasses, but the ghost clone is very specifically like not eyes
Okay.
visible.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. I'm going to have you roll. When it asks you if you're using your psi power, say yes. When it asks you if you're risking harm, say yes.
What?
Yeah, because when I stop doing the ghost clones,
You leak blood.
are you using your side pack? Yes. Are you risking harm to anyone? Yes.
Oh, that's a lot of low numbers, Sean. Okay.
No.
Okay, so you have to distribute a 5, a 3, a 3, a 2, and a 1 to goal, reveal, chase, psi, and harm. That's a lot. The goal was
What is the?
what? Yeah, we should. I'm sorry, I did this sloppy. What was the goal that you were exactly aiming for? Like, find out more about the inside of the building.
I'm trying to see like in.
Okay, all
I
right.
can like.
Figure out where people are, where there might be answers. Sure, that kind of stuff.
I can see through my own ghost size, not.
The only way you learn anything about the building is if you put the 5 on goal. And if you put the 5 on goal, everything else is boned.
Idea if it fails.
Oh,
I have an idea if you want to fail.
I have
that one.
there's a reason that I told him he had to risk harm for this.
Sniper shot right through the eyes of the ghost.
Well, this is a problem.
Well, think about the thing that you want. Really want to achieve the goal? You really want to get a memory? Do you really want the chasers not to catch up? Or do you really want your powers to not cause it? So you really want a memory. So then think about allocating your 3s. Look at the results for 3s. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Well, Sean, no, you don't. You discard one.
No,
wait, you still have
he still has a 1, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So then think about like the 3s, yeah. So chasers move 1 locale, so they catch up to us.
Oh,
And
dear.
then what about the psi power?
Oh, I still have a 2.
Yeah, you still have to put the 2 on
Yeah.
something.
So you're hurt then.
I really don't know if
Oh.
I mean a
Can
3
I do-
impaired for the
Sean,
rest.
can I
Just hang on for a second.
Can I-
Impaired for the rest of the session is going to be a very small price because we're going to wrap up. We're going to wrap up soon.
I put the 2 on the side. People are dead.
Very true.
National news.
Yeah, and the thing is,
Also, ghosts are real.
you're going to have to worry about. You're going to have.
Such a good
You're going to have to worry about...
Kaylee, what's your idea?
I would put the 2 on harm because that just means you're going to have the penalty next session because we're only going to do these for 2 sessions. I would put the 3 on Psi and the 2 on harm.
Kaylee, what's your idea?
I have such a good idea for how your powers go wrong.
Okay.
Can I want to pitch.
Pitch. By all means, pitch. I have final say, but by all means, pitch.
I know you have final say. So Ghost walks across the rooftops, is kind of being all sneaky, and it kind of stops dead as it approaches one of the windows, and it's just staring dead in the windows, and you're like trying to connect with it and see like what it's seeing, and then its jaw like unhinges on incredibly, and this just earth-shattering scream that just starts breaking windows and like shaking everything, and then the thing itself just dissolves. Clearly that thing saw something.
I was gonna say that he put it, not the changing.
Sean's like, what if it was so bad that it actually killed people?
I feel like
My God.
really
But
cool, but also
I don't have, that's my pitch. I don't have final say. Dad has final say.
I was thinking that put it on the wrong side of the roof and it slipped and fell and landed on someone.
See, I was thinking in terms of like collateral damage, because that's like the of like people might be injured, things might be broken. It would be on the news because it's like earthquake in New York.
Hey, it's Chris here in Oklahoma.
One block.
New tectonic plate announced?
What I'm gonna...
life update added.
Okay, so 1 on filling the... We have 1 on the goal, 5 on a memory that answers one of their questions. Sean, can you remind us what your questions are?
My questions are, why do I use my power, like after the ghosts go away? Why can't I make icon? Why do I have a VHS Hunters episode? Hold on, I'm gonna change the episode.
29? I mean, lean into it. Yeah, sure.
And why am I always smelling burnt toast?
I mean, I appreciate that you gave yourself both Herahark's constant stroke and the blood sweat of necromancy in like one character concept.
No, it's not blood sweat. It leaked.
Out of
like,
your ears and stuff?
holes, like,
okay.
sometimes I start...
People may be injured, things broken, it would make local news. Okay. And harm, runner is hurt and impaired for the rest of the game. Okay. All right,
where do I leak?
I have an idea. Players get first say.
On which?
In the injury.
What?
The injury.
No.
Oh, sorry, on the reveal. In the memories.
Oh, yeah, sure. Okay. Let's hear it.
I have an idea.
Let's hear it.
You get a flashback and your brain surgery.
Hang on one second. Can I do all the consequences and then give him the flashback? Because that might inform some of what you have him say. I'm 100, whatever you're about to say, I'm on board. But you can incorporate some of the stuff that I give him or as a trigger for it. Cool? All right. So the ghost goes flitting across the rooftops, is coming towards the building and sort of almost, you're not feeling it, not seeing it. It's not like a find familiar spell where you're looking through its eyes or anything like that, but you're getting close and you can feel it. And you feel this itching tingle across all your skin just a split second before this thing hits what I can best describe as like a force field combined with a bug zapper. And it is around the building and apparently specifically tuned to stuff like what you're doing, because this thing hits it and sticks. And the whole thing is crackling with power. There's an after image in the flashes of a pentagram, but the pentagram is also weirdly reminiscent of that logo, okay? And the ghost is like, and it turns and you see it. Do you guys remember the Doctor Who episode where he dies and the black eye and he's like mouthing stuff that you can't quite make out?
I do, but they probably haven't seen it because that's 12
Okay. The thing turns, its golden eyes go black and you see it mouth as clearly as day, run, okay? And then it explodes. The ghost explodes. The feedback through the shield and like light bulbs, power, windows. There's a pulse throughout the neighborhood. Call it a couple blocks in all directions. That's like a power breaker going off. Yeah, local. It's going to make local news because this is going to be written off as like a local power station went up, and consequences all over the place. The psychic blowback to Sean is such that he's laid out on the pavement, blood streaming from his eyes, from his ears, from his mouth. It's like he bit his tongue, but like hard enough to really like gush blood.
I ate my tongue.
In your character sheet, mark impaired, the middle button. We're just gonna leave that on for next session.
I'm impaired.
I'm gonna move the chasers.
Yep.
On us.
Yep.
I can't move
Which,
the
you know, I see why. I get their logic.
There we go. We're gonna put them there. Okay. So, Sean, can you control Z through stuff and put the dice back?
Yes.
Injury.
Yeah. So
Memory.
he slams back onto the pavement, and when we see him hit the pavement, the flashback happens.
You're sitting in a medical chair. You're strapped down, you're very woozy, but you're very clearly awake. And there's like a bunch of mirrors all around, so you can kind of see what they're doing. They're doing something in your brain. And the reason what they're doing is it's surgery, but it's not surgery, because there's definitely it's weird because on the medical table, there's scalpels, there's bone saws, there's all the stuff that you expect.
Look at your phone.
But there also is
Look at your phone.
I saw it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
There's also sage and a book with a pentagram on it, and it's a weird combination of medical and arcana.
A bottle of mercury.
And yeah, there's a bunch of weird stuff. There is they're taking these really thin strips of ivy, and they're almost searing them into your head in the shape of this symbol for the company. And the reason why you smell burning toast all the time is because this plant growth symbol is activating an arcane rune every time hours.
No, it's
Yeah.
On your brain meat.
Yeah. So it's just
No.
a subtle fungal burn across your brain that is in the shape of this arcane rune.
I'm just going to add one little thing to that. In the center of the...
Zoe, raise your hand.
Zoe, yeah, Zoe, go.
When he falls back and I'm gonna say he hits the back of his head, the smell gets stronger.
We can all smell it.
Yeah. We can all smell the
No,
toast.
Sean smells burnt toast. Everybody else smells burnt meat. The last little bit of the flashback, the part where the rune activates is when they take a thorn about this long and push it in the center of it and embed it right in there.
I wake up. Oh, so that's why.
Oh.
Okay, so to wrap up for this, here's the thing. Here's the thing that we need to be aware of. Because the chasers are on the location with us now, we don't cover the chase box anymore for this thing. The goal needs to be get away, and one of the boxes that needs to be covered. So you want the goal to succeed, the getting away part, and instead of covering chase, you have to cover capture, because the risk isn't are they going to get closer, the risk is are they going to get one of you. So the stakes have changed, and that's where we're going to start as robed individuals and some not robed, several regular street clothes type of people, and at least one, actually, I have a picture. At least one robed individual stepped, this is a little bit over the top, but why not? Let's just go with this. Mama, this is going to be a blast from the past for you. You ready? At least one robed individual steps out of the front door of the building. That they do in red.
Ridiculous.
A little bit. With the glowing eyes and the logo right on this frickin' forehead? Yeah, a little bit. Could be that
Alright, it's Comic-Con.
you can always just explain it by saying, what's Comic-Con? Okay, and that's where we're going to stop because we're switching from chase to capture. What will happen?
No potato.
Oop, boy, he really can't wait because he just logged out just to get to the violence. Okay, thanks, guys. That was cool. I enjoyed that. I look forward to see what happens next when the violence happens.